So, this is the thirst trap that destroyed Twitter. Or is it a thirst trap? Is this a thirst trap? Does this officially count as a thirst trap? Jersey Mike, let's have you weigh in.
All right, so I don't think it counts as a thirst trap in the original definition of it, but I
Mhm.
want to make it. I want to make it clear what the intent is here, because if this person was actually advocating for an end to abortion, there's no reason for her to put a picture of her entire body up in front of a mirror. She's using, even though the picture is more modest than what you would see on other girls' Instagram,
Mhm.
she's using it as a tool to get male attention, which is still not ideal for that situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I noticed that too. A lot of people, we have some detractors here. Oh, see, look at this. Are those your church jeans because they're so holy? Yeah, see someone already giving her that male attention she's soaking up.
And that's why she did it. She's not doing it because she's like actually trying to raise awareness of that issue. I mean, if she wanted to protest that issue, there's so much other stuff that she could have done that's more productive. She's doing it because single men who are terminally online will give her comments like that, and it will end up encouraging her and making her feel better about how she looks. She's looking for male attention. When you remove women from traditional gender roles, women are always desired to be like the object of attention. And when they're not gained attention from a traditional marriage, like a husband or whatever, they will seek it from the rest of the male world.
It also seems that she's brought out a fair number of white knights too. This guy John Barrett II says the negative with every time I see your posts is I'm an idiot who reads comments, and I really want to enact violence upon these quote unquote men. I don't know what it is about you that brings out those creeps. I mean, again, just posting yourself like this online for attention is inherently going to bring out creeps. And she says they just hate authentic women, I guess. Doesn't bother me. I find it entertaining and I pray for their souls. I mean, do you believe she actually prays for their souls? I don't.
No, I personally don't. I think she's saying that I think she's using it as kind of like a bless your heart response. Like when you go to the South and you say something that somebody doesn't like, they'll give you that fake politeness. Well, they'll say bless your heart. I
Hmm.
think her saying she prays for these men's souls is her way of doing that.
Hmm. See, this guy says having a good week? Question mark? Question mark? So far, thank you for asking. More male attention. All right, now we have someone saying, "Aren't you married? Delete this harlot." That's kind of funny. Although, this is kind of creepy. You're showing feet now? Question mark. And that got 185 likes. So,
Look at how she positioned it. I mean, she knows what she was doing.
you think she's going for the foot weirdos?
Yeah, like look at how she positioned it to be like right in front, like at the angle it put right in the camera. Like if she wasn't going for that, she would have just had it sideways on the floor, or it wouldn't be front and center.
Okay, okay. I mean, man, um, this person says posts lust-inducing photo. Well, that was the big charge. There are a lot of women who are complaining, saying, "Oh man, if this photo alone induces lust in you, then there's something wrong with you as a man." I mean, people dress like way more conservatively than this in the past too. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't. When I saw this, I didn't really consider it especially lust provoking. But I'm like, this woman knows what she's doing because she's gonna have guys hitting on her in the comments. Like, and it has literally nothing to do with ending abortion, really. Like, the two things are unrelated. It's like this, just this, don't I look cute photo, and then talking about and like really kind of, and that's gonna draw in a lot of
Mhm.
men too. Like there are a lot of men who are right leaning. She says the religious hippie. I think she's Catholic. Yeah, Catholic communicator,
Yeah,
Catholic perspective.
yep.
So she's gonna
Mhm.
draw in a lot of Catholic guys, and probably also just Christian guys generally, who are kind of like just distracted by this and want to give her positive feedback, really because they want to get with her. Even and really, really again, it's just a big distraction.
Yeah,
Um,
and keep in mind, look how many men are terminally online on Twitter. So
yeah.
they see something like that, and it's like they think it's like a breath of fresh air for them. And I mean, like, yeah, you're right. Like, she's probably trying to get men of like any male attention because this isn't back in the old days where like people were more strict about their denominations, if that makes sense. Like,
But then this woman says the comments under this is why I think it's important to understand the difference between real orthos and cathols and people who LARP online as one so they can punish others with a false righteousness. Of course, you see like so allegedly conservative women coming in to defend this behavior. And then this other woman says, "Cute outfit, Orthodox pro-life girly here, sending positive vibes." This is so ironic because there's plenty of people who just like I really think they've converted to Orthodoxy like purely for online points. I don't think they're actually Orthodox. They're not like their background isn't Greek. They're not Russian. They're not Slavic generally. They just have decided to convert to Orthodoxy just because it's the in thing right now.
well,
Um,
remember what my term for that is. It's the convertidox. And yeah, I agree. And in the most ironic thing is that in most cases it's specifically Russian Orthodoxy, even though the Russian Orthodox Church is not in communion with at the moment with the rest of Orthodoxy.
Interesting. So where is that centered? Like, is it really sort of like they're out of communion with the Greek Orthodox Church currently, basically?
Yeah, so basically, the Orthodox don't have a singular pope. They have they have a group of patriarchs that represent a church in each country.
Yeah.
And the Patriarch of Constantinople is considered the first among equals. So they all have equal power, but he's the one where they kind of acknowledge as the center of their church.
Mm.
But because they have equal powers, any patriarch could break communion, and that would be that.
Hmm. Okay.
Like
What?
the other patriarchs, there's no church structure where they could be subservient to the Patriarch of Constantinople. Like, let's say, for like an extreme example, the current Patriarch of Constantinople decided to reunite with the Roman Catholic Church.
Hmm.
The other patriarchs could easily just pull their churches out, and then Rome would only reunite with the Patriarchate of Constantinople.
Interesting. Oh, see, look at this. Look at this. This person says, as you can clearly see in the comments, your fellow Christians hate women, just like their Bible and past leaders all promoted. Christianity is inherently anti women.
No, it's not. Christianity believes that the teachings of God teach that men and women both have different roles. Both are important, but both have different roles. Just
Okay.
because there's a difference between men and women doesn't mean we hate them. It just means that we have different roles, and we know that the natural role of a woman is not to be posting thirst traps online and getting attention from thousands of dudes.
Look at that. Who said this? Anti Judaic? All three Abrahamic religions affirm the Torah, which is why the world is the mess it is. It's literally a pagan. We literally have another like, do you believe this? Like, this is it. We literally can't make this stuff up. Like,
And like, look at the rest of his responses to the Catholic he was arguing with. The guy's arguing like a leftist. Like the pagan is calling the Catholic an incel because uh, he thinks that he's being too strict on this poor woman.
oh man, isn't this crazy? You can make a compilation of like neo pagans being simps.
they're literally making the same arguments that leftist feminists make. Like they're literally like they're like literally a perfect match with leftist feminists.
Yeah. This person says, God, this comment section is awful. Girl, your post is fine, and you did nothing wrong. Those fake Christians only know how to judge. But Jesus says, do not judge, lest you'll be judged too. Again, taken
Let's
out of
let's read
context.
let's read the whole chapter in context because later in that exact same chapter, Jesus tells us to judge righteously.
I know, judge with righteous judgment. Oh,
It just
this is one of
basically
like,
says don't. It just says don't judge people for something you're currently guilty of at that specific moment.
yeah.
It doesn't say that you're not allowed to call out people for doing things that are wrong.
I also think this is perhaps the number one most twisted Bible verse is that Jesus said not to judge. Like that is the most of all things people misunderstand about the Bible, I would say that is the most twisted that we see in this country today. Um
Yeah, because
it-
all Jesus is saying is don't judge hypocritically. He doesn't say not to hold your fellow brothers accountable. He's just saying don't be a hypocrite when you make judgments.
this person says, "Okay, let's be honest. The real crimes are that the jeans are high-waisted and those knee holes were probably pre-cut by the brand." I think I kind of agree with that. It's like stupid. Like, why do you have jeans with holes in them? Why are you buying jeans that have holes in them? It's
Yeah,
just, I mean, I don't think anyone's getting turned on by knees. I don't know. There are a lot of freaks out there, but it's just more of that. Like, I don't even know. It's supposed to be eye
I mean it really
catching.
depends because some of these jeans that these women will buy in the stores have like the entire front leg like cut off. Like some of them are ridiculous.
Like, why even buy jeans at that point? Again, it's for the male attention, but still, why
I
buy
mean, when
jeans?
I was a kid, I would have to get new jeans because one of the most common things that would happen was when I went hiking and stuff, like the knee would rub against a rock and it would get ripped. And there's
Mm.
people that are literally buying jeans that looked like mine that got worn down after a few years of wearing them.
You know what? I'll even say this. I've had jeans before that ripped. They did rip around the knee, but the holes never got this big. And they
True.
never looked like this either. They were always like smaller. Um
Hmm.
just so fake. This person does come in with a good point. To all the simps in my replies, there's a reason why Mary dressed like this. It is the same reason why women dressed like this in general pre-modernism. Okay, another thing. Arguably, I know there's a verse, I think it's also in Corinthians, um, about like veiling too.
Hmm.
Something like that.
And you would think that you would pay less money for less fabric, but that is not how it works.
Well, yeah, yeah, I know, right?
You actually pay more for the ripped jeans.
Yeah, you're paying them for a defective product.
Be doing it. Or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Mary was literally dressed exactly like this, but it was very common in the Near East at that time for women to wear veils, and that's actually where the Muslims um, derived. I mean, the thing is, it was sort of optional, but then they turned it into a commandment. Christian women were veiling themselves as a way to display their modesty, and then Muslims
Hmm.
eventually turned that Byzantine practice into like a commandment with their hadith. Anyway, let's go to we have some detractors who I'm sure would call us red pill incels. Let's see what they had to say. This woman said, "A lot of men think that a woman posting a photo is posting a thirst trap because that trends tend to be the only time men post photos of themselves. Women don't work that way. We like seeing each other just because." I think this is gaslighting. I think this is her trying to deflect and saying like, "Oh, women were just posting this for themselves." It's like those women who say that like women wear makeup just because they want to wear makeup and not because of men's reaction to it, like not because they get more male attention for it. Um, what do you think?
That women wear makeup for males' attention.
Well, yeah, but also like but the whole because this is like a direct response to the whole posting a picture thing. She's like,
I think it's a little different because with makeup, it's not just for males' attention; it's just a cultural norm, if that makes sense. Most
"Really?"
women, well, yeah, I think a lot of women wear makeup to avoid comments from other women that they're surrounded with. I mean, it's just to try to fit in with the crowd. But there are cases where if they get really flashy with the makeup when they're going out, then that's for male attention, if that makes sense.
Well, my thing is like if women are wearing makeup simply for themselves or for other women like they're
Mhm.
suggesting, then I think it's for competition and to show status in
That
relation to
makes
those other
sense.
women.
Hmm.
But that so
Hmm.
even if it's not directly for men, it's still because of like intrasexual competition with other women, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry, I just got confused with the simple like there's like two types of makeup. There's like the simple mascara that doesn't go too flashy, and then there's like the full done up look.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. But this is like the number one. She's like a Meghan McCain conservative who's always got to like defend women's terrible behavior. She's like dedicated herself to like trying to criticize the red pill from a trad perspective, supposedly. This person says, if you call this a thirst trap, no wonder you think all women are 304s. Also, no wonder no girl wants to date you. I don't know, Jersey Mike. I'm pretty sure you have a pretty serious girlfriend at the moment.
Yes, I do. I do. I mean, that's why all these comments make me laugh.
Why else do you post this picture besides for attention and because you think you look good? I'm a woman and I know this.
That's
It's obvious. Please get over yourselves. Still not a
that's the
thirst
valid
trap.
that's literally why she did it. I mean, that's the one valid valid comment that they always ignore. Like as we were saying, there was no reason to add for that picture that had anything to do with what she was advocating for.
And then they get hung up on the still not a thirst trap. I mean, this is because we associate thirst traps with Instagram and like when I think thirst trap, I think some woman posting a picture of herself in like a bikini. But it's still the same principle, which is the issue at hand here. This
Yep.
person also says, I'm a girl and I think she's pushing it. Also, a bit disingenuous to say the men trying to do good are just undesirable to women. We live in a world plagued by distractions. Men know they struggle to keep control of their eyes. So is it really so hard to think before we post? Gotta agree with that. She's
Yeah,
normally dressed as
it kind of goes both ways. Like you can't just like scold men and say you got to control yourselves and then post stuff like that.
this person says, she's normally dressed and not a single thing about her picture is sexual. The men lusting over her and hating themselves for it are porn addicted perverts. No. This is like obviously for male attention. Anyone with a brain can see it. Trying to hold her accountable for that does not mean you have some sort of crazy addiction. Like this is I mean that's really how they shame you. That's the reaction to this really separated the men from the boys in women who claim to be conservative and then really are conservative.
Ones that actually walk the walk and not talk the talk.
Exactly. The ones who are like, yeah, I'm a girl and I know what she's doing here. And then the other ones who continue to make excuses and then literally use the same shaming tactics that leftists use against men whenever they try to hold whenever they try to hold women accountable. Like there are a lot of so-called conservative women out there who are not conservative at all. But anyway, there are a lot of simps who will defend this behavior. We go here. This guy is saying, wow, Catholic men in the comments absolutely hate her. Uh, I don't know who this individual is, but he says, asking her to not post thirst traps for attention isn't hate.
That is absolutely correct.
Oh, now I see what you mean. This is the guy from earlier. Clearly not a thirst trap. There's nothing revealing about her clothing. You think every woman walking around is a thirst trap? You sound exactly like Muslims. And then he says, "LOL, she's putting up a mirror selfie," and then putting a caption totally unrelated to what she's doing. She's looking for male attention by posting that. It's foolish to deny that. Women and men are fundamentally different. Denying that is denying reality.
Hmm.
Man,
That is an absolutely valid response to that.
you're simply an
And then look,
incel creep. This guy is literally using the same shaming tactics that women use. Let's go back. Let's
that's
go back.
used.
That women use against men.
And
Um,
this is why nobody takes them seriously.
yeah, this is why no one takes pagans seriously. They're literally all white knights. It's embarrassing. Like
Mhm.
they act like they're all hard. These edgy nationalists, who are resisting the system, etc., and they will literally like openly simp for women.
Yep, exactly. And then when pressed further, the guy then goes and says that Christians should be thrown into prison camps.
Unbelievable. Hey, aren't a lot of white people actually Christians?
The
I
vast
for,
majority are.
I forget. Are a lot of white people Christians? I don't even know. Someone tell me. I seem to have forgotten. Would that mean a lot of white people would be going into prison camps? Man, who
Sounds
would
pretty
ever
anti-white
advocate
to
for
me.
that?
That sounds pretty anti-white to me. What about you?
I couldn't. I don't know if a lot of white people are actually Christian or not. Don't ask me. Oh God, these people are clowns. I mean, it really is sad. It seems like the internet has collectively driven humanity insane. Um, and I know that these people are in the vast minority. They're terminally online and they're negligible. But my concern for the future is that as society sort of transitions to become more like technologically literate, if you know what I mean, people spend more and more of their time online, that mental illnesses like these people have will continue to spread. And then more, unfortunately, the men who are conservative, who like this woman's photo, we're just gonna get more simps and more schizos, more unhealthy people who aren't actually able to hold people accountable for their behavior in real life. That's my concern for the future. What about you?
I would agree. I
Yeah.
mean, the further we go down the trail of societal degeneracy, the more normalized things become, and the less willing people are to be able to be speaking out against it. And as a result, it becomes normalized, and people defend it and say it's normal.
Yeah. And even though this woman got like a lot of negative feedback for doing this, which is a good thing,
Mhm.
um, it's still probably not enough to stop her from doing it again, which is the problem.
There's plenty of Yas queens and men giving her attention to where it'll happen again.
She's a blue check.
And yeah, and she has a blue check. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. That was the thirst trap heard around the world. This has been Red Channels and Jersey Mike, and we will catch you in the next one.